Welcome back to the 2-minute warning, back on the topic of the NFL. Today, Jay and I are talking Arizona Cardinals, looking at our top breakout players for the Arizona Cardinals in 2021. They've acquired quite a few big names this offseason, as well as other guys that have really held down the team over the last couple seasons. So we're looking at our top breakout players for the Cardinals. But before we get into the video, question of the day, and that is for you guys. Who do you think the Cardinals should draft at 16th overall in the 2021 NFL Draft? We're inside of 3 weeks away, coming up on 2 weeks from the draft. Super exciting. So who do you think the Cardinals should take? That is our question at the end of the video. Jay and I will answer that for ourselves. But Jay, where do we want to start here with our breakout players for the Cardinals this coming season?
Number one on the list, I'm going to go with pass rusher Chandler Jones. You can argue that Chandler Jones isn't going to be a breakout player. He's already been a dominant player. He led the league in sacks in 2019, last time he was healthy, with, I believe, 19. So you can make the argument he's not a breakout player. He's already proven, but him not playing at all, or for the most part last season, I think it's fair to include him in this list, especially getting a partner in J.J. Watt. I think Chandler Jones is hungry coming off this injury, and with a, I don't want to say revamped team, but a team with new additions, there's going to be new energy on this offense and defense that wants to win and make a playoff push, and I think Chandler Jones is going to have that comeback energy, might be a comeback player of the year possibility, and we know he has the numbers and skills to become a type of number one pass rusher in the NFL. I mean, if he led the league in sacks just 2 years ago and you're healthy, he's still got it, in my opinion. I think he's going to have a breakout season. Maybe not lead the sacks again, but he's going to make his presence felt again, that's for sure.
Yeah, I like this pick with Chandler Jones a lot. He's obviously been very good over the last several years. Arizona was hurt last year. Right now with the Cardinals, he's got 61 sacks, which is, I think, 2 or 3 shy of the all-time record with the Cardinals. So he's playing very good football. That whole NFC West division is full of great pass rushers with Nick Bosa and Aaron Donald, and now on the Cardinals, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt. I think that there's a lot going on about Russell Wilson not liking the pass rushers in the NFC West. I think that Chandler Jones is the main reason for that, and I like him this year for the Cardinals being a huge problem on defense, or for other offenses on the defense side of the ball.
Yeah, moving on, just a disclaimer. A couple of these are questionable, but this is just kind of my opinion and Carson's opinion. But next on the list, I do have A.J. Green being a breakout player. I don't know if he'll be top 5 receiver A.J. Green, but breakout player to compare to what he was last year, kind of like Chandler Jones. Just given his recent history, any type of improvement is kind of a breakout for this type of guy in A.J. Green. And I think the Cardinals is a team to do it, where you got D-Hop getting double-teamed. A.J. Green, with his size, with his frame, with his physicality, this is a guy that can win one-on-one matchups. And a Kyla Murray that seems to have a pretty good arm that is improving. I do think A.J. Green can, just like Chandler Jones, create a comeback case and have a breakout season compared to what he has recently.
Yeah, I think A.J. Green definitely, I guess he has the potential to be a breakout player. I am looking for a receiver for the Cardinals to have a breakout year. I think Kyler would really benefit from that, but whether it's a guy they take from the draft or D-Hop, I don't know what really defines a breakout season for a guy like D-Hop, who's been at the top of the league for his entire career almost. But I like A.J. Green. But take the Bucs, for example, with Antonio Brown. Would you have considered Antonio Brown to be a breakout player for the Bucs? Because I don't see A.J. Green being any better than AB was with the Bucs. So it's hard to define breakout, but I don't know if I expect A.J. Green to be a breakout player.
Yeah, AB is such a rare case, though, right, because it wasn't AB's skill that we were questioning. It's his mentality and his on and off field action. So it's a rare case.
The question with A.J. Green is, can he play football at a high level?
Yeah, anymore? It's almost going to be like Julio now, coming off a very injured season. He's still going to be top dog. It's just going to be questionable to me. Any improvement is kind of making this guy
for me, A.J. Green definitely has the potential to be big, but I just wouldn't expect it from him.
Yeah, fair enough. Next on the list, kind of 2 guys combined, but we're considering the same thing. Running back position, Chase Edmunds and newly acquired James Conner. The reason I think one of these guys will be a breakout year or have a breakout year is because the Cardinals are highly depending on it. Not re-signing Kenyon Drake shows they have faith in Chase Edmunds, but them adding James Conner shows they might not have complete faith, but they know they'll either have a double running back threat or at least one of these guys will pan out. James Conner, pretty good running back when he initially placed Le'Veon Bell. He's kind of taken a step back over the years. However, he has dealt with quarterback issues and Big Ben being injured sometimes and deteriorating himself. And then Chase Edmunds, he's never really had this role, but I do think one of these guys will step up with an offense that has a pretty decent offensive line that you could probably work on in the NFL draft, and especially with the new center you got in Rodney Hudson from the Raiders. I do think one of these guys will step up and really take the number 1 job and be a breakout player.
Yeah, I like what you said. I mean, mainly, you expect one of these guys to be a breakout player because the Cardinals are going to need it on the offense side of the ball. Like I said, the Cardinals' offense last year was pretty one-dimensional. I mean, Kenny Drake ran the ball pretty well, but it was really just Kyler and D-Hop were what was trying to win games for the Cardinals. So you need one of these guys to break out for the Cardinals to be a playoff team, which we think that they can be. I like the situation. You got two running backs. Neither of them will have a solidified spot. You got to make them compete. So I think one of these guys will come out as a breakout player. I do agree.
Sounds good. One more quick one, or there's going to be a few more, but a quick one is Christian Kirk. I think he could be a breakout depending what A.J. Green is. If D-Hop's getting the double teams like he typically does, and then A.J. Green is even half of what he used to be, and you got so much separation and attention on those two big guys. Christian Kirk, a guy that isn't well known, but he is kind of well known for big plays. He's not well known on reliability and having consistent numbers, but he is a big play type of guy that he'll probably have 2 catches, but it'll be for 80 yards every other game. It's just a weird type of player for the Cardinals, but I think if A.J. Green is half of what he was and he's getting a lot of attention and D-Hop's getting his normal amount of attention, Christian Kirk is going to create a lot of separation and possibly be open a good amount in the field.
Yeah, I'm looking, like I said, I need a breakout season from a Cardinals receiver. Christian Kirk could be the guy. A.J. Green could be the guy. A guy from the draft, say Devontae Smith slips to 16, that could be your guy. But either way, that's definitely on the table.
All right, this next one, me and Carson kind of have a little bit of a disagreement and a debate, but I personally think Budda Baker is going to have a breakout season. I think losing Patrick Peterson, he's going to take a bigger role and step up. And Carson thinks Patrick Peterson's replacement, Malcolm Butler, is going to have the breakout season.
Yeah, you need a breakout season in that secondary from somebody to fill Patrick Peterson's hole, because if you don't, you lose some defensive prowess. Either way, I think Malcolm Butler would be kind of directly filling that spot, and I'm going to looking for the breakout season from him directly.
Yeah, like I said, I got Budda Baker. He was already starting to become the number one guy. Patrick Peterson was already starting to pass the baton to him as Budda Baker is finally hitting his prime. Patrick Peterson was facing age, and I now think that it's kind of being forced upon him. We'll see him step up and definitely, if he's not already, be a breakout player, one of the top safeties in the league. Moving on to finally some of the bigger names, I'm going to go with Isaiah Simmons, a recent rookie drafted number 8 overall in the 2020 draft. The only reason he wasn't a stud of what he was last year and expected to be is because the Cardinals don't really know what Isaiah Simmons is. They just know he plays defense. They can't find an exact spot. Middle linebacker, outside linebacker, pass rusher. Should he cover a guy in the secondary? He's just a defensive player, and I think if the Cardinals can find the perfect spot for him, he's definitely going to break out. He's got the raw skill.
Yeah, he was extremely talented player out of Clemson. I think, like Jay said, Cardinals couldn't find a great spot for him. But the issue is not him. It's the fact that they just didn't utilize him at his fullest potential. So you find a way to do that, this guy could definitely have a breakout year.
Probably the one you guys are all waiting for, J.J. Watt. Enough said right there. J.J. Watt's kind of had, I don't want to say, kind of like Chandler Jones, not injury-wise, but the past season or so hasn't been great for J.J. all alone in Houston for the most part. I do think now he's going to have a revamped season. Getting Chandler Jones back, I think this pass rush is going to be deadly. They can't double-team both guys. One of them will be double-teamed, Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt, and whichever route the defense or the offense goes, the other one is going to be able to easily win their one-on-one matchups, and therefore J.J. is going to rack up those numbers and create a deadly pass rush.
Yeah, you said it right there. One of them's bound to have a breakout year because the other takes the heat off the other, so blocking-wise. J.J. Watt, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year with Houston. The last couple years of him in Houston was really him playing to his fullest potential, at least trying. I mean, he was injured, but his last year in Houston mainly was him wanting to play football really bad and him just surrounded by unmotivated guys kind of pushed him out of Houston. I mean, he got released, but my point is he's going to be in Arizona with guys that want to win football games. He's going to fit in perfectly there. So he's going to have, I think, definitely going to have a breakout year because he's surrounded by guys that want to play football just as bad as he does, and he's a very good player.
Yeah, and this is outside, of course, the Texans making the divisional round last year and having a good lead on the Chiefs. This is probably one of the closest shots JJ's going to finally get at a ring at his point in his career. You know he's going to give it his all and try and take this Cardinals team to the playoffs and make a push for the ring. That's really one of the last things he hasn't accomplished. So I think he's hungry.
It's been him on his own in that Houston up front defensive front for several years. So he's got help around him. He's got guys that want to win football games. He's gonna be set in Arizona.
The final player on this list, but there is an honorable mention at the end, is of course quarterback Kyla Murray. Again, you can say that he's already breaking out and already becoming a well-known quarterback in the league, and some think he's top 10, and how much more breakout can you be? But we thought Josh Allen was a top 10 quarterback last year, and then 2 years ago, and then this past year, he's already an MVP conversationalist. So I think Kyla Murray, if he follows that trend, he's definitely going to be a breakout guy. Getting new receivers in A.J. Green, Christian Kirk might emerge a little bit. Hopefully one of these running backs emerges well and a well-rounded offensive line now with the new captain in your center position, Rodney Hudson, and then maybe if they fulfill it in the draft. I think Kyla Murray, with just experience and new receivers, is definitely going to see an upgrade overall.
Yeah, Kyler has emerged as one of the better young mobile quarterbacks in the league, like Lamar, like Deshaun. Not quite as good as either of them, I don't think. But Kyler is definitely rising to his game. Hasn't quite had a breakout season yet, going into his third season. Is that right? Going into his third year. So I think this year could be it, but it goes back to what I said. It's going to take a breakout. It's going to take a AJ Green that breaks out, a Christian Kirk that does, or a draft guy. So I think Kyler needs the receiving help, but he's got the potential. He's definitely got the electric factor to him that I definitely think he'd have a breakout year.
Yeah, the last honorable mention really isn't a player. I'm going to look at the head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, and say he might not get a breakout season. I probably, if I had to say, probably think he won't be, but he needs to have one when you're in a division that has some of the best coaches in the league, and Pete Carroll, Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Cliff Kingsbury. He's kind of on the hot seat already. He needs a breakout season, and if this is going to be one, it's a pretty good spot for him. Get in J.J. Watt, get in A.J. Green, Malcolm Butler, but you could still fix it in the draft. Overall, this team is getting better. Your quarterback's getting more experience. I think he can do it, but just in the division with those type of coaches, it's going to be hard to hold par with them.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's now or never for Kingsbury, so hopefully this is the year he does it, because if not, his future with Arizona is probably not going to be very long. So back to the question of the day. That's all for the video, guys. You're drafting for Arizona. Who do you want to take?
If he's available, I'm going to go with protection and Christian Darrisaw, but I think he'll be snatched up beforehand, so I'm going to go with Caleb Farley. Cornerback has kind of dropped on some draft boards. Arguably, neither of them might be available. I do think one of those two will be available, so it just depends who it is. But I like Caleb Farley on the defense with him dropping on draft boards.
Yeah, in our mock drafts, I think I went with Darrisaw. I went O-line, whether it was Verituck, whoever was available. I went O-line for the Cardinals. I kind of want to change it up here. I guess that's the smart pick. Protect Kyler. But I said it so many times in the video. I want to see him take a receiver. And to be realistic, Chase and Waddle and Kyle Pitts will probably be gone. So I guess I want to see him take a chance with Devontae Smith. Super talented guy, but I guess his frame is questionable for the NFL. But my pick would be Devontae Smith for the Arizona Cardinals. Guys, that's all for the video. Thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.